Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Within Warzone right now, there are a lot of extremely competitive options. The meta across the board, even featuring some older weapons from MW2 and MW3, is extremely competitive, obviously, in addition to all the Black Ops 6 guns. And right now, there are a bunch of weapons that have some incredibly fast time to kill stats. So today I wanted to go through and break down the top 5 best TTK weapons and loadouts to currently rock. And we're starting first with a personal favorite of mine, the MCW conversion kit. As mentioned, there are several competitive weapons from previous titles here. Personally, I do still wish it was just Black Ops 6 guns, but for those looking for purely the objective best TTK choices, ones that are going to be competitive regardless of what era they're from, the MCW conversion fries. All the stats here today are courtesy of True Game Data, so they are tried, true, and tested. And with this, at 19 meters, prime sniper support territory, where this weapon thrives the most, 600 millisecond TTK. Hit scan in that range, thing absolutely melts, and it's honestly pretty low recoil and very aggressive at the same time. So obviously the most important part of this setup is going to be this Jack Raven kit. Turns it from a rifle into an SMG AR hybrid. You get good mobility, helps out that TTK, makes it an actual meta contender and meta option here. I also really like the Jack Cutthroat stock on here. It's obviously limited to specific weapons, but it feels so good on a build like this that's based around aggressive close to mid-range gameplay, helping out with movement, strafe, just all around makes the weapon feel very aggressive and keeps it easy at the same time, though. It's not going to like penalize you too much there. 40 round extended mag is going to be the max here. You're going to be running that in any mode you're playing pretty much. Spirit Fire Suppressor helps out the range and the velocity. Then I go for the Nightart Model 2023 optic. This is a preference choice. If there's a different scope or optic you want more, feel free to go ahead and run that. But we end up with a 21 meter effective damage range of 547 velocity, which is all right. Could be better, but that'll suffice in a lot of situations. And this ends up being, like I said, pretty much the best sniper support in the entire game and an absolute true meta contender in and of itself. Another option you might be surprised by, but again, tested the stats here, it is actually a true TTK beast here. It's the Lachmann Shroud with the conversion kit as well. And here, according to True Game Data, at 11 meters, so prime close range territory where you're going to be using an SMG, a 602 millisecond TTK, one of the fastest in the entire game at that range. Now, obviously, it's an SMG, so you're not going to want to be using this at 20, 25, 30 meters and beyond. It's going to drop off very harshly there. But if you focus exclusively on that close range, this is an option that will absolutely melt. So again, most important part here is this Jack Decimator kit that takes the Shroud and turns it into a full auto MP5 basically. The base Lachmann Shroud, not really anything all that crazy. The conversion kit with the Decimator goes absolutely nuts. Now, I actually went for the mobile stock on here, speeds it up a little bit with your ADS speed. It's not going to do a ton, but it'll do something. There's a lot of pretty useless attachments here, unfortunately, since of course it's an older era weapon, so you're a bit limited there, but it is what it is. You can live with that. 50 round extended mag, very straightforward here. It's the max option, so of course you want to be using that. BW4 hand stop will do the same thing as all the other mobility based underbarrels. It's going to help out the movement speed there, just make you a little bit more aggressive, right? However, if you wanted better control, you could use any of the vertical underbarrels as well, and these will obviously just be purely control based, make the weapon a tad bit easier, and they're not going to slow you down at all, which is always a huge pro now because of how they've reworked all the underbarrels. But I found the weapon to be easy enough to use within, like, 11 meters, 15 meters, that's prime range, and so might as well speed it up and make it a bit more aggressive. Lastly, I went for the Grapple 6 barrel. This will help out with range, a little bit of control as well, so keeps it easy. We end up with a 13 meter effective damage range of 486 velocity will work where you want to use this. Decent mobility across the board as well, so definitely a bit of a surprising choice here, but one that is absolutely competitive. And by the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons and setups here today, if you enjoy the video, you find the information helpful at all, a like rating seriously does help the channel grow. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you're new to the channel, or perhaps you haven't subscribed yet, we should change that. Every single day I got you covered with everything you need to know about Call of Duty, whether it's news and updates, patch notes, things of that nature, or of course meta breakdowns for multiplayer and Warzone. It's all right here, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Next up, a weapon that we've talked about quite a bit lately, but this thing just melts, the AS Val. The buffs to this thing and the change to recoil behavior and everything just made this gun so incredibly good. You could use this in the mid-range as a more aggressive rifle. You could even use it in the long range as well, and it's going to be really, really effective pretty much regardless there. Out to 55 meters, this thing has an 875 millisecond TTK, so one of the best in class, one of the best over range as well. Plus, I just love the overall feel of this thing. I love the fact that it's actually got an integrated barrel here, so it's a 2-for-1 attachment. It's keeping you off the radar, and then you get the benefits of whatever style barrel you want, velocity, range, or a bit of both. And I like the reinforced here. Might as well get the 2-for-1, or really 3-for-1 there, with mini-map suppression, obviously, better velocity, and better damage range on there. Vertical foregrip helps out with recoil control. Again, just makes the weapon a lot more predictable, so we're rocking that, of course. Extended 3 in this case, you absolutely have to run. It's still only 55, which isn't the best. Like 60, 65, 70 would be ideal with this fire rate, but you can make 55 work, and you kind of have to, right? I also go for the balanced stock. I really do like the feel of this. It just makes it more aggressive in general. If you want to really optimize the long range build though, you could swap that out for your optic of choice. That'd be a good choice too. Then also recoil springs just makes the weapon even easier to use here. So we end up with a solid velocity up over 1,000, 62 meter effective damage range. This thing just feels fantastic, you know, after all the updates it's received. The SVA 545 is also another pretty surprising contender here. Like, there are some seriously fast TTK MW3 guns here. Obviously, the feel with them might be a little bit worse than some BO6 guns. It's kind of personal preference there. Are you okay with the control and the handling, or do you really prefer the BO6? But if you're just simply looking for damage output and you want to knock enemies quickly, the SVA is another fantastic choice. 35 meters, so on the closer end of like the mid-range, the long-range type scenarios here. It's got a 713 millisecond TTK. Very fast. It's also incredibly easy to use in full auto or semi-auto here. I initially go for NIDAR model 2023 optic. Again, preference based here. I just really like the look of this and have since MW3, of course. Spirit fire suppressor helps out with that range and that velocity, and then precision barrel is going to do more of the same. Some control, some range, and some velocity on there too. 60 round extended mag, very straightforward. The max option here, of course. Then I also go for high grain rounds for the better range and velocity as well. So we end up with a 51 meter effective damage range, up over 1,000 velocity stat. Like I said, already a very easy to use rifle to begin with. So you're going to be accurate. You're going to melt with this thing. It is a very, very good assault rifle as it stands. Hey everyone, happy holidays. Really quick, just wanted to let you know that if you're looking for any last minute gifts this year, look no further than Gamer Advantage. Some GA frames make the perfect gift under the tree, or even a fantastic stocking stuffer as well. And let's be honest, if you know anyone who's looking at screens for long periods of time, whether they are gaming, doing work, doing school, these are game changers, and they are the gift that keeps on giving. Yes, you could say it's comparable to a certificate to the Jelly of the Month Club. Nah, but for real, they got a bunch of different frame options. I'm currently rocking the Horizon 2.0s. I love these things. They offer prescription and regular lenses, so they got something for everyone. If you want to pick up a pair for yourself or for someone else this holiday season, throw in code WhosImmortal at checkout. That'll save you some cash. Link for that will be down in the description below. And then lastly, maybe the best gun in the entire game right now, the AK-74. I always think it's very nice when there is an actual true full-on meta option that everyone's using that also happens to have one of the fastest TTKs in the game. It's definitely not as surprising as seeing, you know, something like an SVA or an MCW conversion. We know the AK is great, and it still lands in that top TTK conversation here. So this in particular is just a 5 attachment build, gunfighter build. It also work really well here, but I go for the Jason Armory 2 times. I kind of bounce back and forth between that and the Willis 3 times. Basic suppressor just keeps me off the radar. If you want max control on a 5 attachment build, the compensator would also be a good choice. It's just, if you are okay with showing up on the radar, obviously if you're going to be using that, that's something you got to value, but for me, basic suppressor works just fine. Reinforced barrel here is phenomenal for the better range and velocity if you just want to focus on range. Long barrel would work if you just want to focus on velocity. Gain twist would work, but I like the best of both worlds personally. Vertical foregrip, max recoil control horizontally, at least here, makes the weapon a lot more predictable. Then extended 2 will be a 50 round extended mag. That works fine with this rate of fire. If you wanted to go all in on gunfighter, you know, you could use an ergonomic rear grip for better slide to fire and ADS, a balanced stock for better movements, overpressured or recoil springs in the fire mods, and you'll be good there as well. This thing definitely could benefit from that, but even just as a 5 attachment build, it absolutely melts as well. And that being said, those are 5 of the fastest time to kill weapons and loadouts here in Black Ops 6 Warzone, and that's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out so you can always guarantee you're in the know for everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.